Forward into our Sounders news here, and by the time that you're seeing this, we'll be close to kickoff for the first playoff match of the MLS Cup Playoffs for our Sounders here, taking on FC Dallas. Seattle finished with the second overall seed, as we talked about last week. They're playing an FC Dallas team that made a nice push to the playoffs here that we've seen before, and Seattle was able to take care of business. But obviously, once the playoff comes, it's a new leaf. It's a whole reset for things to happen. And thankfully, with the availability report for tonight against FC Dallas and potentially for the next few rounds at least, unless anything else is added, knock on wood, the only player that the Sounders are missing tonight who is indefinitely out is defender Reed Baker-Whiting with a left hamstring strain. He left the match and the win against St. Louis in St. Louis with this hamstring strain. He looked obviously upset when it happened. I'm sure he was pretty upset. You're going to miss some playoff time. As we talked about last week, Reed just made the decision, him and the Sounders mutually made the decision to stay out of an international call-up. I believe it was the Pan Am Games, and instead to stay with the Sounders, considering the impact that he's had with the club down the stretch. So tough to lose an impact player like Reed Baker-Whiting. Unsure if he would have started, considering that Nuhu is back, but having him available would have been excellent for Seattle as well. So we also talked about a week or two ago with Nico Ladero confirming that he had played his last regular season match with the Sounders, and it seemed unlikely to him that he'd be coming back next year. He said that how he saw it on his end, Seattle seemed to be ready to move on from him, ready to go in a new direction. The Sounders provided some sort of clarity from their end on things, saying that they are still keeping the door open for Nico to return, but considering the aging contracts that are coming up for the Sounders, considering the amount of money that Seattle is paying Ladero, and obviously his age here, at least in my opinion and my thoughts on it, all signs are pointing to Nico not being in the Sounders jersey next season, which is unfortunate for one, but you're just hoping now that you can send him off on one excellent playoff run. So we'll go over the playoff schedule for round one once again. As I mentioned previously, the first two matches are mandatory. Tonight, October 30th versus FC Dallas is a 6 p.m. kickoff. This is an Apple TV Plus game, as every MLS match is. It is free, so if you don't want to pay for it, Apple TV, you can just watch this match. Leg two of this is also, again, this is required, November 4th, Saturday at FC Dallas with a kickoff time of 6 p.m. That'll be big there. For the Sounders. You need to win both of these ideally, and then move on. In case that third match is needed, that will be a week from then, a little under a week from then. Seattle hosts Friday, November 10th versus FC Dallas. That's a 7 p.m. kickoff. That is only if necessary. That's why the asterisk is there. Need to take care of business in the first two legs. That starts, as I mentioned, tonight, the 30th with a 6 p.m. kickoff.